Good day, everyone. Today, our presentation topic is philosophy in our daily life. My name is Li Zehao, and my metric number is A2074089. When people hear the word philosophy, they may think of old books, difficult theories, or famous ancient thinkers. However, philosophy is actually very close to us. It appears in the small decisions we make every day. For example, when we decide whether to tell the truth, we are dealing with ethics. When we ask whether a news post on social media is true or fake, we are using critical thinking. When we choose between personal freedom and group responsibility, we are already thinking philosophically. Philosophy also appears in bigger issues. For example, should AI replace human workers? Should economic growth be more important than environmental protection? Should personal rights always come before community safety? So philosophy is not only about abstract ideas, it helps us think before we act. It teaches us to ask better questions, make better choices, and live more responsibly.
My name is Wu Zhuxi and my metric number is A207359. So let's talk about ancient philosophy. Ancient philosophy began with the habit of questioning. Philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle believed that human beings should not simply accept everything without thinking. Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." In simple words, this means that we should reflect on our choice, values, and beliefs. This idea is very useful today. For example, when we see a viral video online, many people immediately believe it, like it, or share it. But a philosophical person will pause and ask, who created this video? Is there evidence? Is it trying to manipulate my emotions? The same applies to shopping. When we buy something just because an influencer recommends it, we can ask, do I really need this or am I just following a trend? So, Asian philosophy is still alive today. It teaches us not to be passive followers. It trains us to become active thinkers who question information before accepting it.
Hello, my name is Li Dexin and my metric number is A207347 and let me introduce the five standard reason finding balance. During the medieval period, philosophy was closely connected to religion. Thinkers tried to understand how facts and reason could work together. This is still important in modern life. Many people have religions or personal beliefs, but they also rely on science, logic, and evidence. These two sides do not always need to fight each other. For example, when someone is sick, their facts may give them emotional strength. At the same time, they still go to the hospital, take medicine, follow medicine advice. Fight supports the heart while reason get practical action. Another example is environmental responsibility. Some people protect nature because their religion teaches respect for creation. Theirs protect nature because science shows the danger of climate change. Different reasons can lead to the same responsible action. Therefore, philosophy helps us build balance. It reminds us that belief without reason can become blind, but reason without value can become good. A good life needs both wisdom and humanity.
Hello everyone, my name is Liu Haowen and my metric number is A206795. Let's start the modern philosophy, rights and responsibility. Modern philosophy brought a strong focus on reason, freedom, and human rights. Thinkers such as Descartes emphasized rational thought, while Locke discussed the national rights, such as life, liberty, and property. These ideas are not only political theories, they appear in our daily life. For example, as students, we have the right to express our opinions in class, but this right also comes with responsibility. Freedom of speech does not mean we can insult others, spread rumors, or disrespect different views. Another example is privacy. We may enjoy posting photos and video online, but we shouldn't upload someone else's private information without permission. The right to privacy must be respected. Modern philosophy teaches us that freedom is valuable and freedom cannot exist without responsibility. If everyone only focuses on personal rights and ignore others, society becomes selfish and chaotic. So philosophy helps us understand the rights and duties must work together.
Hello, my name is Han Haozhen and my entry number is A207411. The PPT also compares the Western lines of individualism and the Eastern lines of harmony. Western philosophy often emphasizes personal freedom, independence, rational thinking, and individual success. This is useful because it encourages people to develop their own talents, question unfair systems, and build their own identity. For example, when choosing a career, individualism reminds us to ask what am I good at and what kind of life do I want. It encourages us not to blindly follow what others expect. However, East philosophy such as Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism focus more on harmony, balance, relationships, and collective well-being. This is all very important. For example, in group assessment, each member should be responsible for their own part. That is individual responsibility, but members must also communicate, help each other, and avoid unnecessary conflicts. That is harmony. A good life should not be extremely individualist or extremely collectively. Philosophy teaches us to balance personal good goals with care for others.
Hello everyone, my name is Zhou Shili. My metric number is 27335. Let me introduce the freedom versus community safety, a clear real-world example of philosophy in the COVID-19 pandemic. During the pandemic, many societies had to make difficult decisions between personal freedom and public safety. Some people felt that mask rules, lockdowns, and vaccinations probably limit their freedom. They believed individuals should have the right to choose for themselves. This reflects a more individualist view. On the other hand, many people supported strict health measures because they believe community safety was more important. They accept inconvenience in order to protect the elderly, children, and people with weaker immune system. This debate was not only about medicine, it was about values. Should I focus only on my own comfort, or should I consider how my actions affect others? Even now, we face similar choices. If we are sick, should we still go to class, or should we stay at home to avoid separating illness? Philosophy helps us to seek beyond ourselves. It reminds us that personal freedom should sometimes be balanced with social responsibility.
Hello everyone, my name is Wang Haoyu and the metric number is 207345. So let's talk about the truth, AI, and online ethics. In today's digital world, philosophy has become even more important. We live in a time where information spreads very quickly through social media. However, not all information is true. This is where epistemology becomes useful. Epistemology is the branch of philosophy that studies knowledge and truth. It asks how do we know something is true? For example, AI can now create deepfake videos, fake voices, and realistic fake images. If we believe everything we see online, we may be easily misled. Therefore, we need to check sources, compare information, and think critically before sharing everything. Ethics is also important in digital life. For example, students can use AI tools to learn, brainstorm ideas, or improve writing. But if students copy AI answers without an understanding, it becomes dishonest. Companies also face ethical questions. If AI replaces workers, should profit be the only concern? Or should companies also care about people's jobs and dignity? Philosophy helps us use technology wisely, not blindly.
Hello, my name is Xie Yiran, and my metric number is 820737. So now let's make a conclusion of our presentation. Philosophy is not only about study ancient thinkers, it's a living tool that helps us face a real problem in daily life. The four branches of philosophy are connected to our list. Epistemology helps us judge truth, especially in the age of fake news and AI. Ethics helps us decide what is right or wrong. Logic helps us build clear arguments. Metaphysics help us think about identity, reality, and what it means to be human. In the future, new challenges will require deeper philosophical thinking. Climate change will require environmental philosophy, artificial intelligence will require technology ethics, and equality and poverty will require economic philosophy. Cooperative behavior will require organizational ethics. Our main message is simple. Philosophy is not away from us. It is in our classrooms, our phones, our families, our communities, and our future. By using philosophy, we can become more thoughtful, responsible, and wise human beings. Okay, this is our presentation for Group 2. Thanks for listening.